What is up, PC Gaming Pulse crew? Get ready, because we've got some huge news drops that are gonna blow your minds. First up, we're diving into a major shift over at Steam. Valve is reportedly no longer accepting adult games in early access, and this move is sending shockwaves through the indie development community. We've got the details on who's being affected and why this policy change is causing so much controversy. Next, we're shifting gears from the digital shelves to the silver screen. After the massive success of The Last of Us and Fallout, the race is on for the next big video game adaptation. We're breaking down 5 incredible games that are prime candidates for a screen takeover, from epic fantasy worlds to gritty Western sagas. And speaking of dominating the charts, our next story is all about an indie phenomenon, Hollow Knight. Silksong is absolutely crushing it on Steam, continuing its reign as a bestseller nearly 10 days after launch. We'll explore just how this small studio's title is making such a massive impact and what it means for the industry. Finally, we're heading back to the world of competitive gaming, where the Timberlane Regional Owls faced a tough challenge against the Winnacunnet High School steamroller. We've got the breakdown of that intense matchup. Stick with us, because you need to know all this gaming intel. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Steam is slamming the door shut on adult games in early access, and developers are not happy. This isn't just a rumor. Multiple indie developers are reporting that Valve's moderation team is now rejecting adult-themed projects from entering the early access program. This abrupt shift in policy, though not officially announced, is causing significant concern and frustration within the community. We're seeing a consistent pattern of rejection messages, with one developer, Dammit creator of the erotic RPG Heavy Hearts, sharing a notice from Steam stating, "Your app has failed our review because we're unable to support the early access model of development for a game with mature themes." This isn't an isolated incident. Blue Fairy Media also faced rejection for their project, the restoration of Aphrodisia, despite going through multiple review stages without any prior mention of NSFW content restrictions. Some developers suggest these stricter informal rules began appearing as early as the summer, coinciding with Valve's increased focus on payment system requirements. The lack of official documentation banning 18+ content in the current early access guidelines only fuels the speculation that Valve is implementing informal, but much stricter, internal rules. This move strikes many as overcompliance and a form of censorship, potentially stifling creative freedom for a significant portion of the development scene. Developers and players alike are voicing their concerns online, with many fearing this sets a precedent for further content restrictions on the platform. The community is actively discussing the implications for artistic expression and the future of diverse game development on Steam. But don't go anywhere, because what Steam is doing might just be the tip of the iceberg for industry shifts. We'll be right back after this to talk about which games are next to hit the big screen. From virtual worlds to the silver screen, the next wave of gaming adaptations is here. Following the runaway success of HBO's The Last of Us and Amazon Prime Video's Fallout, studios are once again eager to translate video game magic into must-watch television and film. It's clear that when done right, these adaptations can capture massive audiences, proving that the magic of gaming translates powerfully to the screen. We're looking at 5 prime candidates poised for this transition. First, Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed is reportedly getting a new lease on life with a Netflix series, promising the deep, historically inspired stealth action fans crave. Then, there's the much-anticipated Amazon Prime Video series based on God of War, focusing on Kratos' complex journey into fatherhood blending epic combat with heartfelt drama. For fantasy fans, Dragon Age remains a strong contender, its intricate Game of Thrones-style world begging for a big-budget adaptation, though it's still searching for a taker. Even the notoriously silent and brutal Soulsborne games could become a bold, atmospheric cinematic experiment. And finally, Rockstar's masterpiece, Red Dead Redemption, with its rich narrative of loyalty and betrayal on a dying frontier, is ripe for a Yellowstone-esque series with the gravitas of True Detective. Fans are buzzing with excitement about these potential adaptations, speculating on casting choices and how faithfully these beloved game worlds will be translated. The success of previous adaptations has set a high bar, and the industry is watching closely to see which of these gaming giants will be the next to conquer the streaming charts. But while we wait for these epic tales to unfold on screen, one indie game is already making waves that no one saw coming. Get ready to hear about the indie title that's dominating Steam like a titan. The Timberlane Regional Owls faced a formidable opponent in Winnacunnet High School, ultimately falling 19-7 in a hard-fought game. Despite an early burst of excitement, the Owls found themselves up against a powerful, physical running game from Winnacunnet, a scenario that mirrors their Week 1 performance against another strong team. While they managed to hang tough for much of the game, the sheer force of Winnacunnet's offense proved too much to overcome. The Owls' defense struggled to contain Winnacunnet's ground attack, which consistently chewed up yards and controlled the clock. Winnacunnet's ability to execute their power running game, wearing down the Timberlane defense, was the key factor in their victory. For the Owls, it's a tough loss that highlights areas needing improvement in their defensive strategy against physically dominant opponents. Fans are lamenting the result, particularly the inability to stop the run, a recurring issue that needs addressing. The team's spirit and effort are acknowledged, but the physical disparity was evident on the field. Now, you might think we've covered all the biggest news, but wait until you hear about an indie game that's defying all expectations. We're about to reveal the indie darling that's absolutely dominating Steam's bestseller list. Hollow Knight, Silksong is not just a game. It's an indie phenomenon, still topping Steam charts nearly 10 days after launch. After years of intense anticipation, Team Cherry's Hollow Knight, Silksong has not only met but exceeded expectations, launching with a staggering 600,000 players on Steam. This incredible feat for an indie title has fans and developers alike marveling at its success, with many feeling the $20 price tag is an absolute steal, potentially setting a new benchmark for indie game pricing. Reports indicate that Silksong sold over 5 million copies within its first 3 days, a number that continues to astound the industry. What's even more remarkable is its sustained performance. The game is still a fixture on Steam's bestseller list almost 2 weeks post-release, a rare feat for any game, let alone an indie one. This enduring popularity is largely fueled by massive hype, drawing in Souls-like fans eager for a new challenge. However, this surge also led to some initial difficulty spikes for newcomers, prompting the developer to address feedback and make the early game more accessible. Despite a few initial hurdles, Silksong's continued dominance on Steam is a testament to its quality and the immense anticipation it generated. The gaming community is abuzz with discussions about Silksong's unprecedented success, with many praising the developer's responsiveness and the game's overall quality. Some are even debating whether this level of success will influence future indie pricing strategies. But don't let this indie success story fool you. The industry is always full of surprises. We've got one more critical update from Valve that's causing a stir, and you won't want to miss it. Alright, PC Gaming Pulse fam, that's a wrap on today's explosive news. We saw Steam's controversial new policy impacting adult games in early access. 5 awesome games are poised for incredible screen adaptations. Hollow Knight. Silksong continues its reign as an indie bestseller, and the Timberlane Owls battled hard against Winnacunnet. What a rundown. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to PC Gaming Pulse for all your gaming news needs, ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat, and drop a comment below telling us your thoughts on today's stories. You can also follow us on all our social channels for more gaming goodness. We'll see you in the next one.